Hi, I'm Marsh from StrataGames, and today we're playing another deck donation. This is Red Dredge, or Dredge, like D-Reg, you understand. This is by I Am Puente, who built this list to be kind of the aggressive burn / combo deck that the Red Dredge deck is, but with a sideboard that's almost entirely transformative. So in our main deck, we're going to be trying to mill a whole bunch with Stinkweed Imp and also Golgari Brownscale, eventually getting enough creatures on the board to cast a Dread Return and unearth a Lotleth Giant, which will ping our opponent for lethal. We're also playing Sneaky Snacker, which can get milled or discarded with our Grab the Prize or our Stormstreak Feral, or Faithless Looting, or Scrapwork Mutt, or Insolent Neonate, or Voldaren Epicure. We got a ton of ways to put it into the graveyard and draw additional cards. We got some Molten Gatekeepers, which we can unearth to be attackers, a little bit more ping damage, or just a cheap creature to get back for the Dread Return. But then in our sideboard, we have a Rally package with Goblin Tomb Raider, Lightning Bolt, and Rally at the Hornburg. I like the idea of the transformative sideboard because your opponent's going to bring in a whole bunch of graveyard hate. And if we're concerned for that, we can just swap out our Giants, Dread Returns, and Stinkweed Imps and just become a little bit more of a red deck wins aggro deck that doesn't care quite as much about our graveyard, although we'll still have snackers and things. I am interested to see how it's going to go because we're missing the best part of a Rally deck, which is Burning Tree Emissary or Bushwhacker to be able to deal additional damage. But we do have Gatekeeper, which will trigger twice with the Rally, so that can still be pretty strong. And if our opponent's just expecting a slightly slower, grindier deck and then suddenly we attack them really fast in game 2, I think that might have some merit. That's the Tomb Raiders is why we're running the Great Furnaces in the main deck. And then we do also have 3 Pyroblasts. That is our actual sideboard that we'll be using if we go up against any blue decks. So pretty excited to see how this turns out. Let's take it for League and see how we do.
Thanks to Card Market for sponsoring this video. I've written a comprehensive guide on how to play White Weenie in Pauper, including my ideal stock list, over 30 sideboard matchups, and a sideboard cheat sheet, which gives you a very easy snapshot view and what to sideboard for every single matchup. I also have guides for Black Sack and Esper Affinity. Each guide is only $15, and if you buy one, you will get all future updates that I ever make to that guide for free. I also offer coaching, so if you're interested in upping your Pauper game for any of the decks that I'm very proficient in, or if you're interested in having me play your deck in a future video, you can do a deck donation, which is the only way you'll ever see me playing Cycle Storm or Flickertron.
All right, we're on the play here, and this one's okay. We got an Epicure into like a flush out, discarding a Gatekeeper, which is not incredible, but I think we'll keep it. We are on the play. Obviously, drawing a Snacker or something would probably be our best, because then we could discard it and get it right back. We're against Mono Blue Fairies, it looks like. Tapping our Blood Token, outrageous. Another reason Snacker would be really good there. Swing for 1. We're going to flush out. I think it's better to have one of the Gatekeepers in the graveyard. We draw Dread Return and Brownscale. Not necessarily the best cards for us to draw. They swing at the Strix and have a Ninja and replay Strix. Scrapwork Mutt. We could discard and dredge. We're only dredging for 2. We do gain life, but life is not the relevant thing in this matchup. I think I'm going to just play the Gatekeeper here instead. Try to start getting some damage in. Like next turn I could unearth the Gatekeeper, ping for 1, play a Scrapwork Mutt, ping for 2, attack for like 5 if we want. They're just going to snap it. That's pretty annoying. Of One Mind. Fairy Seer. Scry at the bottom. And swing with the Hacker. We're definitely going to block. They might have a Brine Barrow for it, but that's fine. No, just another Ninja for the Strix. Another Scrapwork Mutt. Well, I think we're going to play 2 Mutts, so we have blockers even if they snap again, rather than just playing a Gatekeeper that's wasted if they do have that. Discard Brownscale, and I think we'll dredge. We hit a Snacker. Of course, we haven't drawn a second card this turn, so I can't get it back with just like a Blood or a Mutt. Play another one. We'll mill some more. Neonate and a Furnace that time. Just swing with the Seer. They have a big Ninja. Replay the Seer. Stinkweed Imp. Gonna be hard to draw enough cards for this Snacker. I could have held the Scrapwork Mutt last turn and then done that with the Blood Token, but we would have not been dredging. We would have wasted 2 mana last turn. Didn't seem great. I think I'm going to play a Gatekeeper and probably unearth this Gatekeeper and then just try to attack for a bunch. They'll take 6. Pass. Flash in a Galeblade. Of One Mind. They have a Strix. Tap the Gatekeeper. They Ninja the Moonscircle Hacker and then Ninja the Strix. I mean, they're tapped out. if we get lucky, we could definitely kill here. So we have 4 damage on them, so they're at a virtual 7. If I can find a troll, we only have 1 discard here is the problem. We have 4 creatures in our grave, so if I discarded the Dread Return, no, because I wouldn't even find the... Alright, well, we're discarding Stinkweed Imp, and we're going to Dredge. Hope we find something. Gatekeeper, Dread Return, Faithless Looting. That's great. So, if I unearth a Gatekeeper, I could attack... I ping for 1, they're at 10. I can attack for 6, they go to 4. Probably block here. And then I could Dread Return... Nothing that would win immediately there. Okay, I think I'm just going to Faithless Looting. If we find a troll, we can still just win. No. Discard Stinkweed Imp and I guess Brown Scale because we already have... I kind of want the Scrapwork Mutt in the graveyard because then it can have haste next turn. Sure, we'll do that. Snacker does come back, which pings for 1. Oh, I should have unearthed first. Although I guess I'm not actually unearthing this time because I'm going to play this Neonate. And we can attack. They have to block. They go to 5. They shouldn't be able to deal us lethal because they're only going to have 7 damage unless they have a bunch of mutagenics or something. I could Dread Return. I could Dread Return like a Stormstreak Feral. I don't think that's worth it. So next turn we get to unearth a Gatekeeper, assuming this is still around, ping for 1, then unearth Scrapwork, and that's just lethal, let alone attacks and stuff. Scry 2 to the bottom. I was a little worried. It's always tough against mono blue fairies. I was a little worried maybe I was getting a little too aggressive and giving them too much card advantage. That could technically still turn out to be true, but I'm feeling pretty good right now. They're attacking with everything. I guess I'm going to block, and we can mill an extra 5 here. They have a Ninja for the Moon Circuit Hacker, Ninja for the Gale Blade. Sure, they can go crazy. I'm going to discard a Brown Scale, and then dredge the Stinkweed Imp. Milling a Faithless Looting, another Dread Return. So they could definitely like snap this Gatekeeper or something, which could throw us off, but the good news if they don't get that is that I have lethal damage from just abilities, nothing that they can actually counter. Just unearthing a bunch of guys, which is my plan to win. They got to discard. Plus we just get like 6 creatures to attack, because 3 of them that unearth will all have haste. They could still snap this on our turn. I still think that's fine. Mill 2 with a brown scale, sure. Mill the Snacker, but also gaining 2 could be relevant if we don't win here. We're going to unearth the Gatekeeper, ping for 1, unearth the Scrapwork Mutt, ping for 2. I guess I'll discard this brown scale on the off chance that we somehow don't win here. Gaining some more life could be relevant, but we'll just try to unearth the Scrapwork Mutt and see if that kills him. And it looks like it does. Alright, got the game 1. We do get Pyroblasts. Question is, do we want to switch here? Because they have a lot of like 2 toughness creatures on the ground, a lot of combat tricks for the rallies that almost makes it feel like it's not as good. Of course, they have counter spells for like Dread Returns and stuff, but as we saw, we have a lot of activated abilities and things like that. I think Bolts would be worth bringing in, since the brown scale is not super relevant. And maybe we go down on like a giant. I guess maybe since we're bringing in the Pyros, we don't need the Bolts. I don't know. I mean, they'd be good, of course, but... Alright, this hand is reasonable enough. We start with the Fairy Seer. Scry 2 to the bottom. Gatekeeper. I'll play a Neonate. Not exactly sure which is better to get down, that or the Epicure. But Neonate has Menace, so I figure it's harder to Brine Barrow block. If they tap out, we get to grab the prize, discarding the Giant. We're going to go for a Hacker. Replay the Seer. 2 to the top. We get a land. That's not bad. We're just going to discard Giant. Ping him for 2. I think I'm leaving this back. Maybe it would have been better to play the Epicure because I could trade for a Hacker and I'd be happier about it. Whereas here, if I block, I almost want to discard a Gatekeeper because we've got too many in hand, I think. Which means these won't trade, and if they like spell stutter this, it could be trouble. Of One Mind. Strix. Okay, well that's going to get through then. And another Hacker. We got to grab the prize. Okay, so I could just play a Gatekeeper, but I feel like that's worse because he gets snapped or whatever. And while they're tapped out, I think we're going to grab the prize with the Gatekeeper, and then I'll just play an Epic here probably. Of course, now we draw the Snacker after the grab the prize. We'll just pass here. Fairy Seer. Swing with the team. I think we're blocking both of these. Ninja for the Strix. So I could trade. I could also discard a Snacker here, but they get to keep a Hacker, which seems bad. I think we'll just trade. We get a Gatekeeper to cast, I guess, since all we draw are mountains. I think we just pass. Unearthing the Gatekeeper doesn't do much here. I could discard the Snacker, but it's not coming back, and I waste a card draw as far as contributing to getting the Snacker back. Of course, they have the Strix to tap this down. Another Ninja. Fairy Seer. And they Hydroblast the Gatekeeper. Okay. Interesting that they're tapping out to do that. Oh, sure. Fairy Macabre them both. Interesting. That's pretty good. Another Snacker. Well, let's hope to get another way to discard and draw. We do. I can't play the Gatekeeper first, unfortunately. But we're still going to be able to get back 2 Snackers, which is decent. Neonate as a blocker is not bad. They came out of nowhere, but I'm pretty glad they didn't Fairy Macabre these, because I think they're going to be better than the Gatekeepers. Ooh, main phase activating loot is a very good sign for us. They are attacking. I guess I am low enough, and I don't want them to draw cards. I'm going to block like this. I'm going to discard this mountain, because I think hardcasting the Gatekeeper is probably better than unearthing it. Of course, we draw another mountain. Grab the prize. Let's cast Gatekeeper. See if they want to counter anything. I guess grab the prize gets spell studded, and this doesn't, so... I might want to save the grab the prize, though, for the Snackers coming back after I block next turn. I think that's going to be better. So I'm going to unearth this Scrapwork Mutt instead, which is just going to get in for a little bit of damage unless they want to Hydroblast this. Alright, this didn't get Hydroblasted, which is nice. They save that 1 damage, but we'll discard there. I could swing for 6. I think that's a little too crazy. They go to 9. I mean, theoretically, they could kill us, but even if not, can I kill them the following turn? Not necessarily. I think we just swing for the 2 here. They play a land. Go for the loot. Still flooded a bit. Swing just with the Ninja. Block here. I would have blocked the Strix, or... I would have blocked the Fairies here. I would have blocked any of them that they attacked with. Pyroblast would have been nice. Let's pop out this graveyard. Where are we at? I could unearth Gatekeeper before I try to get the Snacker back. If this grab the prize gets countered, we're kind of in a bad spot, but I think we go for this. If I get a Dread Return milled off the Stinkweed Imp. Oh, I guess if I dredge the Stinkweed Imp, then we're not drawing, or excuse me, we're not getting the Snacker back. So maybe I don't even want to dredge it. We'll see if they have the counter. Might not matter. Yeah, there's the Sprite. Swing for 2. Swing with everything here. It's a tough call. I want to cut off their loot draw engine, but I kind of think that I need to keep them from having another counterspell, because if I get another grab the prize or something, I really need to resolve it. They're going to activate in response, see if they find a Ninja or a Blind Bearer or something. Discard a Galeblade. They do get a Hacker. I guess, do I want to dredge this Stinkweed Imp? We're dead on board, so if I dredge it, we've already hit 3 of our Gatekeepers, Scrapwork Mutt. Snackers doesn't matter. I guess Snackers matter if I get a Faithless Looting, but then that's just tapped. But I guess the chance of drawing 1 card that's relevant here versus 5 cards to hit a Faithless Looting, I think it's better odds if I go for the mill. We do get a Faithless Looting. Dread Return with 9 creatures. Faithless Looting is going to get me back 2 guys. So if they don't have a counter spell and I can find a 3rd creature, I can maybe Dread Return this Giant, which would potentially be good enough to survive. Okay, they just have a counter spell. Well, we're dead then. That one was a bit unfortunate. Kind of feels like we want some more interaction. I think this one's a little bit less about the combo. Maybe we cut down on it a little bit for some bolts. All right, no 1-drop. And hope we don't get Hydroblasted. on turn 2. I guess if they leave up blue, I could just Scrapwork Mutt instead, which they are. Yeah, let's go for the Mutt. Discard Stinkweed and Dredge here, I guess. We hit Pyroblast, Lightning Bolt, Feral, Epicure, and land. So nothing really that helpful. They have a Brine Barrow Intruder. No attacks. Now they just have Counterspell up. I have a Pyroblast, but no land. And if I play Grab the Prize, that's it. All I can play is Grab the Prize, though. Or Pyroblast. Well, I think we just pass then. They're passing back to us. This is going to go poorly if we don't get some lands, because they'll be able to just keep developing their mana while we are not. I guess Faithless Looting's decent, although it gets Spell Stuttered, which I can Pyroblast, but then they can Hydroblast it. But if it resolves, it's decent, and also it's a card that I can cast while holding a Pyroblast. So they're going to Hydro it. I think we have to just go for this. Hope for the best. All right, it works. Snacker and Stinkweed Imp. I guess I don't have to get rid of a Snacker until I grab the prize. So maybe just double Stinkweed Imp? Sure. Giant will need to go in the graveyard at some point too, but that can wait a little bit. Although if I'm going to Dredge Stinkweed, then I'm not going to be able to grab the prize on a Snacker, so we'll have to think that through. Strix to tap the Mutt of one mind. A second of one mind. And swing. Leave up mana. So do we mill? If I mill, I'm going to grab the prize and not get back a Snacker. Plus I can't draw a land. I'm going to say no. I'm going to hope they don't have a Hydroblast that I'm very much expecting. Yep. Pass the turn. Swing with Strix. They have a Hacker. Not going to Dredge. Neonate and then Epicure, which I'm sure will get Spell Stuttered. Both of them probably. Or just Counterspelled. Strix is back. Tap, swing for 4. No Ninja for the Spell Stutter is like the only thing going for us. Discard another Strix. Loot with the first one. Discard a Gale Blade. Do I want to mill? I mean, at this point, I guess yes. I don't know. Tough call. We hit another Snacker, another Gatekeeper. If we can somehow find Dread Return and not have it countered, maybe we can get there with the Giant. But they have a Counterspell for the Mutt. We'll pass. Kind of hard to play through a Counterspell every single turn, I will say. Multiples on one turn. They have another Strix, huh? And a Ninja for the Hacker. Pick up a Spell Stutter. Alright, we're dead. They have a Spell Stutter to counter whatever. Even on one is pretty irrelevant. We're just, unfortunately, in a pretty bad spot there. Alright, round 2. This one's okay. A lot of dredging going early. Against white, potentially white weenie. Gonna be tough if it is, because they have Thraben Charms for Graveyard Hate, and Red Rally in the sideboard is not particularly good either, as they have too many creatures for us to go wider than them. But that was a good mill. We hit a Snacker, Dread Return, and a Gatekeeper. Tapped Grange, no attacks. So I probably want to get this Snacker out on the field this turn. So I'll probably flush out and not dredge this turn. I'll dredge next turn, which means maybe I get the Gatekeeper out too for an extra point and then attack. I think that seems decent. We also already have a bit of a stacked graveyard, so getting some of the cards that are relevant there out seems good. So that if they blow it up, we've already gotten our Gatekeeper and Snacker value. They can trade here if they want, that's fine. They don't. Skyfisher, bounce a Plains, replay it, and swing for 1. And they got a Darval for that. Okay, we have a Dread Return in the grave, so we're definitely going to mill here. Hit another 2 Snackers, although I didn't draw a card. So unless I Scrapwork Mutt into a draw 2, we can't get him this turn. But I guess we might as well go for it. I could save this and this for next turn, like the Epicure Blood, but I feel like if we do all of... First of all, we have nothing to play, and second of all, then they could have a Thraben Charm up. So we're going to discard an Imp and not mill. Yeah, I guess we'll just draw. Okay, I drew Neonate. We're 1 mana short of doing Epicure Blood and Neonate this turn. But we'll play Epicure and Neonate and pass. They're missing land drops, so if they do have the Thraben Charm, at least they'll use pretty much their whole turn. Yeah, and they're just going to pass, so they're definitely holding it up. So I think I'll just draw. All right, we're just going to pass. If they crack their clue at the end step, then I can draw my second and third card in the end step. And if they don't crack it, then they're just wasting mana, which is also fine by us. They are going to do it, so let's blood token away a Stinkweed Imp and draw, and neonate a brown scale and draw. We draw our giant, which is bad, although we have a mutt here, but we get to return both snackers. So they might feel like they have to tap out and like get something going this turn because they just have so little board presence, and I can just start attacking and throwing some creatures away to get in for like 7 damage here. And if they do, which it looks like they might, although they could discard a Strands here, which would protect them from a giant. If they don't, then we can kill them with the Dread Return. Ooh, there's a Battle Screech. Okay. Yeah, so we can just Scrapwork Mutt, Dread Return, all that stuff after attacks. Oh, they discard a Strands at end step. Okay, never mind. Yeah, let's mill 5. Pop out the Grave. We get a Gatekeeper. Ooh, that's decent. So if I bring back Gatekeeper, they have 3 blockers. 2 on the ground, so block, block, block. They take 7. They can, of course, Strands, but if they do that, then I can win with the giant. Assuming I get enough creatures in there, which I think I should be able to get that. I guess this would put me at 7. But I'd be sacrificing at least 3, which is 10. So if I can get in for at least 4, should be all right. Plus the Gatekeeper is going to ping off the Mutt and the giant. All right, Unearth Gatekeeper. Swing with the team. All right, they're blocking 3 non-snackers. See if they want to use Strands. They are going to. So then we have 7 cards in our grave. This is going to go up to 13. Oh, but they chose black, so that's going to prevent damage from this for this turn. Oh, okay, well that's annoying. Kind of forgot that they get to overlap those. So I guess that's not going to kill them this turn then. I can Scrapwork Mutt. They're going to take a damage here. I guess I'm going to discard the Stinkweed Imp and mill 5. Get a Faithless, another Gatekeeper. I mean, I could still just unearth a giant as a big guy, but I don't think that's better than other stuff. All right, I'm going to pass. I mean, if they just Thraben Charm our graveyard now, we're not in a great spot. The Strands blocking all the snacker damage and the giants was really unfortunate. They're going to play an Inspector, Flashback Screech. They're going to pass. Okay, so I could dredge more, but I don't think that's worth it, so let's not. Of course, I draw a giant, which is worse than if I'd milled it, of course. I mean, we're just going to make them exile the graveyard because I assume they can by going for a Gatekeeper and then Scrapwork and then Scrapwork. Any of these they want to let us get, we just gain a bunch of life off of, yeah, so, or deal them a bunch of damage off of. So we're going to exile the graveyard. So I can attack, I could deal 2. That's not going to work. Well, pretty unfortunate seeing as they were missing lands, but this has got to be our worst matchup. They have Graveyard Hate, Creatures to block, and Prismatic Strands to block our Lotleth Giants. Realizing we are not playing a Flaring Pain. Now, they might expect us to be playing Flaring Pain and side out Prismatic Strands, which would be great, because otherwise we're going to get trapped by that on games 2 and 3 as well. Swing with the Birds, we'll take 2. They have another Screech. Flash it back. Perfect. We're going to pass. They're swinging with 2 birds again. We'll block one of them. They've drawn 3 Battle Screeches. Flash back. Elite Interceptor. I mean, Epicure is something. I think we need to discard Stinkweed Imp and Dredge and try to find a Faithless Looting, which we do. We've drawn 1 card this turn, so if I don't dredge anymore, I'll get back Snacker. But my goal would be to find a Dread Return. They're at 10. I could mill enough creatures, and with, I guess I'm only milling 7. Yeah, I don't think I care about the Snacker. I think it's about Dread Return. So I'm going to mill, and we hit a Faithless, but otherwise nothing. Going to mill. We hit another Faithless Looting, but nothing else. Discard Stinkweed and a giant. Oh, we also hit so many spells, so we're only at 4 creatures in our graveyard. That's particularly great. All right, we'll pass. We're dead to any pump spell or even probably a Leonardo. They have like 15 creatures. Rejoinder, Novice Inspector. If they had a Leonardo or a pump spell, they would have just attacked all out, I think. So I'm just going to block here because this being in the grave could be good. In fact, maybe I wanted to... No, I need some creatures to dread return, but I also want creatures in our yard. I mean, if they have a Thraben Charm, we're dead, but if they don't, we're going to mill. Then we might be okay. Another giant snacker. So we'll looting, and we actually have to draw, although that gets us back our snackers. Or no, because we dredged already. Put 2 Stinkweed Imps in there. So Stormshriek Feral. Oh, we have 4 cards left in our deck. We only milled 1 Dread Return. We have 4 cards left in our deck, so it has to be a Dread Return. And then we should hit enough creatures. Then they probably just have Prismatic Strands. But, I mean, we got to go for it. Discard a giant. Oh, I'm not allowed to mill 5. I'm not allowed to mill 5 if I only have 4 cards, right? Because it's mandatory. Which means that I should have discarded this brown scale and dredged too, because I just drew both Dread Returns that were left in our deck, and I can't get rid of them. That's pretty funny. I don't dredge a lot. We have 3 blockers, so we're definitely dead. I'm pretty positive. I feel like they probably have the Strands or the Charm, but obviously I should have discarded brown scale and actually tried to go for it. I was just thinking it would mill all of our deck, and that's not the case. Some people don't know that there's a attack all button if you right click. All right, we're dead. I mean, if they didn't have the right card, we had a shot there. In fact, we had it there, but it was very unlucky not to get the Dread Returns to the very last cards, but then we definitely misplayed it. All right, I really don't think going wider is going to help. I'm going to hope they think we're going to side in Flaring Pain and that helps us, because otherwise I just don't know what to do. I know as a White Weenie player, Red Rally is like the #1 matchup I want to get paired against, although Dredge is pretty closely behind it. So, yeah. All right, we are on the play with a 1-lander. I think we can't really keep 1-landers in this deck. It's like, especially because we're wanting to dredge, it's going to force us to not dredge. All right, well, we'll put 2 Dread Returns back. Hope for the best here. They have an Inspector. We're going to flush out this Snacker. Swing for 1. Darval and replay the Inspector. Gatekeeper. Scrapwork Mutt. Discard Imp. We'll mill. 2 more Snackers, 2 Giants. I kind of think if we have 2 Snackers in our grave, I don't really want to block with this one and make it 3 so they can just blow them all up at once. They're already going to feel like they have to exile the graveyard if they have the ability. Swing for 1. We're going to take it. They are missing lands again. Gonna pass. We get a land. No way to get back the Snackers. So if they want to blow up the graveyard, go for it. We're gonna Gatekeeper. Like, I have a Neonate, which could maybe draw into a way to get them, but I'm also expecting them to have a Charm, so I'm not gonna bend over backwards to try to get them back. They have a Journey to Nowhere for the Gatekeeper. Swing for 3. And another Inspector. Faithless Looting. We'll swing with both. I think I'm fine to trade this for an Inspector, Gatekeeper, swing for 3, Elite Interceptor, and Rejoinder to untap. Nice. Play a Plains, swing with the Snacker, Scrapwork Mutt, ping for 1, and we're going to dredge our Imp here, Dread Return, and a Stormshriek Feral, Insolent Neonate, ping for another one, we'll just pass. No attacks from them. It's a good sign. Another Gatekeeper. Probably just play that. We're going to swing at the Snacker first, see if they want to kill it or anything. Play another Gatekeeper. Ping them for 1. They're going to crack a couple clues. Actually, just 1 clue and then exile the graveyard. Rafine's Informant. We get a looting here. Swing with a flyer. Cast a looting, discard Stinkweed Imp and Mountain. Could go for another looting, or I could just like flush out. Let's cast looting from hand. Just try to mill some more. Discard Stinkweed and another looting. We got a Gatekeeper, which I got unearthed for 2 damage here. It's not the worst idea ever, but I think we're going to leave it. They'll crack a clue. Rafine's Informant. They discard a Strands. Bit unfortunate, we still have to deal with that. Makes some sense, though. They pass the turn. We're going to Dredge from Stinkweed Imp. Hits a Scrapwork Mutt. Swing with the Snacker. They're going to crack a Clue. Take 2. We'll cast Flush Out, discarding Stinkweed Imp. And milling. Still no Dread Return. But I guess Epicure forces them to Strands for red. Because it's going to ping, ping, ping. I was hoping if I found a Dread Return, then they would have to die. Because I could, even without the Epicure, I could have unearthed the last Molten Gatekeeper, force them to Strands on red, and then I could Dread Return the Giant for black. We're still in a very good spot. But if they get a Graveyard Hate spell again, it'll be tough. Grange onto Darval. Swing. I think we might as well block it. We get a Dread Return. So let's attack with Snacker. Because now they could have another Strands up, so they could do black and red this turn. So they might take the Snacker damage because it's not lethal. And then if I make the red lethal and then black lethal, at least they'll have to use everything. So unearth the Scrapwork Mutt. They have a Strands for red. So I don't actually know if I want to go for the Dread Return, because I'd have to sacrifice creatures now that they can just Strands it away. I'd rather wait for next turn, so I think we're going to do the Stinkweed Imp and just dredge more. And then pass. Attack with Darval for 4. I think we're just going to take it. Every attacker now matters. Battle Screech. Okay, they got some blockers. I don't think there's any reason to dredge. Our graveyard is plenty full. Let's just do a Scrapwork Mutt, force them to use the Strands on red, and then hope they don't have another Strands or a Thraben Charm as we go for this Dread Return. Cast it on a Giant, sacking these guys. Alright, and ping them for a bunch. Alright, we got that game against crazy odds. That was 2 Strands, or I guess 1.5 Strands, and 2 Thraben Charms. Let's try it again. 1 land. We're on the draw, though. I guess we'll keep this one. I mean, if we don't get a land, we're going to be in trouble. But on the draw, and we have an extra way to draw with like an Epicure. If we get to 2 mana, then we have a bunch more ways to draw. They swing for 1. Skyfisher. Come on. Well, we're going to discard a Stinkweed Imp and not dredge it. We do get a land. Wish we just had that a little sooner, but it's better than not having it at all. Play an Informant. Hollow. They haven't seen a single Lightning Bolt, so I guess that's fair. Do we mill here? Probably. We hit Snacker, Gatekeeper, Mutt. Probably should play a Mutt so I can have a blocker for this, because we could take a lot of damage here. And I probably just want to draw, because I would like to hit another land. We do. That's lucky. We'll pass the turn. Play an Inspector. Swing with just the Skyfisher. They're going to leave up Charm mana, so I don't think I bother milling. And I think I'm going to try to get the Snacker out of our graveyard so that if they have a Charm, they have to use it now, which is pretty early. So let's do that with this Brown Scale. No replacements. We're going to Snacker in our hand. All right. I would have liked a land since we just drew 3 cards, but we got pretty lucky with the lands earlier, so I guess I can't complain. I'll crack a Clue. Play a Lunarch Veteran. A second one. Okay, that could be a little annoying. Inspector's getting in now. Feels like that means there's a Leonardo. What is our game plan? Well, we can get another Snacker out with a Grab the Prize. That's decent. I could prevent a Leo from coming down because it is pretty bad. It would hit us for 6. But I'd have to throw away this Epicure, which is probably fine. They could just be attacking because they want to leave back their Skyfisher. But, alright. Do we mill now? If I do, I don't get the Snacker back. Unless I have another way to draw. Ugh, but I do feel like we need to get our Dread Return combo happening pretty soon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I guess no. We draw another Snacker. I can't discard that first unless we like Scrapwork Mutt into a land, discard it, which I could, but there's no guarantee. and then I wouldn't get any out. So I think we just go for the snacker. No. We do get a land first thing, so that would have been better. And a neonate. I think we're just going to flush out. Discard a snacker and then mill this time. Maybe mill with this one too. Pass. Didn't hit either of our black spells, although we have a Dread Return in hand, I guess. 4 Scrapwork Mutts. Just swing with the Skyfisher. I mean, we're going to take it here, I think. Yep, they do have Leonardo. Kind of weird they wouldn't attack with like an Inspector so they could make sure. I guess if they want to go for a Battle Screech, maybe. Gain a bunch of life. But I could have blocked there. Replay Skyfisher. Pick up the Inspector. Replay that. Up to 22. Life gain, damage prevention, million creatures. What am I to do? I think we gotta Dread Return them for 1,000,000. So to that end, maybe I Scrapwork Mutt. I think I need to get some creatures that stick around down. Plus Gatekeeper pinging would be pretty good. So we're going to do this with the Neonate. Next turn, I'm going to probably go for like a Scrapwork Mutt, discard and draw, or Dredge rather, and then do it again. Attack with Leonardo, block, and we're going to just Dredge this Stinkweed Imp. There's a Giant. If they have a Thraben Charm, we're going to lose. I'm 100% sure of that. Same with the Strands, probably. Journey to Nowhere on the Gatekeeper, I assume. 14 creatures in grave. I mean, that's pretty good. So, Molten Gatekeeper, Unearth. I could do another Molten Gatekeeper, but then I can't double Scrapwork Mutt. So let's just do one Mutt. Let's move this over here. Stinkweed Imp and Dredge. We did not hit a Dread Return. I guess we only have one left. So to be fair, I have to just discard this one then and Dredge this guy. Gain 2. Dread Return on the Giant, sacrificing these 3. Hope for no charm. It's not even quite lethal, but it's pretty good, and I can maybe set up another Dread Return next turn. They go to 12. We'll pass. These all go away. They're already gone. They crack a clue, play plains, swing with Leonardo. I mean, I want Giant in my graveyard if we're going to try to Dread Return it again, so I'm fine with this trade. They didn't have mana for Strands last turn, though, which means that they could this turn. That would be worse. Ooh, we get a Gatekeeper. That's decent. And then Scrapwork Mutt. I could go for Dread Return this turn, but they have so much mana open. But if I don't, and they draw into... Like, they're going to draw a bunch of cards this turn, and by them drawing a bunch of cards, they could find the Strands or the Prismatic or Thraben Charm. So I think we are going to go for it, even though they haven't conceded. So the chances of it resolving properly are very low. They're going to crack a clue in response. They have a Strands, so they take 1 from the Gatekeeper and will pass. I mean, if I don't Dredge anything next turn, they're gaining 2 life for these guys. If I don't try, I guess they still have a Strands, because I can bring back 3 Snackers, which will ping for 3 with the Gatekeeper. That's pretty good. Straight to combat. Not quite what I wanted, but I'll attack with the Giant, might as well. They block with a whole bunch of things. Not exactly sure why. Oh, because they're Strandsing. Sure. It feels weird they're going to Strands this, but I guess that means they probably have another Strands in hand. Doesn't matter what I deal damage to then. Gonna Faithless Looting to discard these Stinkweed Imps. Bring Snackers back. Of course, they have the charm. Well, that was probably the game then. I guess I can discard, sack this, discard, mill 2. Don't get anything relevant. I mean, we won 1 game, but it still feels almost impossible to win this match because so many charms and stuff. I mean, I guess technically they could... we're very close on time. Oh, they have another Thraben Charm. Very close on time. Maybe we could get them there, but it seems unlikely. No attack with the Veteran. We'll block here. Yep, they got a Leonardo on a Skyfisher. We go to 6. We get a Storm Shriek Feral, which I guess is better than Flush Out, probably. I could attack, but we can't kill them and then we die. Also, they probably have Strands up because they bounced a Skyfisher and didn't replay it. Skyfisher. Bounce a dude. Oh, it's Leo. Right. And then I can't block. And then we die. Pretty unfortunate how that match went, though. All right, we will keep this one. We're against the Mirror. Probably not. Ooh, I guess because of that Snacker, I'm going to Looting first. We're going to get double Snacker next turn. I do kind of want to go up against any match where it would be better to have the Transformative Sideboard, like game 2 and 3, if we can find some sort of mid-range something. Mid-range or control, I think, is our sweet spot, where they're going to sideboard in a way, and then we get to do things differently. They blood tokened away a Snacker, and I'm waiting for them to Looting to get their one Snacker, although only one is kind of pathetic. They don't even have it. Well, we have ours. Looting for double Snacker, ditch Imp and Brown Scale. And we'll play an Epicure and pass. I didn't mention this at the top, but Brown Scale is a card usually in the sideboard in this deck for like a burn matchup. And because we have a Transformative Sideboard, it's had to make its way to the main deck. But it's going to be probably pretty good here. 2 life is a fair amount to gain like every turn with it. So they do go for Looting now. I think we'll be prioritizing the life over the extra mill, because like with blood tokens and Scrapwork Mutts, I can actually activate it, trigger it like 2 or 3 times a turn, potentially. And we're already down to 12, so I think that's probably smart. Oh, they're Rakdos, because they discarded a Swamp here too. Yeah, good to know. We will get the Brown Scale to gain us some life. Scrapwork Mutt, Brown Scale, gain us some life. And I think because of that, we're going to just attack. We also milled our second Brown Scale, so that's pretty nice. You know, this could be one where we want to pivot, because they probably will bring in Spell Bombs or something for Brown Scales and whatnot. And so if we pivot to just very fast and aggressive, that could be kind of good. They Robbery into a Kitchen Imp and have an Epicure. They're going to swing. We're going to Brown Scale. We have a Dread Return and a Giant. So I could Scrapwork Mutt, swing for 6. They go to 9. Giant. If I can Dredge Stinkweed Imp, I might be able to hit them for lethal if I get enough. Or I could just double Neonate, which I could double Dredge. I think that might actually be better. Yeah, because it's putting creatures in our yard instead of taking them out. Discard Brown Scale. We're going to go for the Stinkweed Imp here. Neonate, discard Stinkweed, mill with that. We have 12 creatures in our yard. Swing, we'll hit for 4, and then we'll Dread Return. Oh, wait. If I swing with the Scrapwork Mud, I can't Dread Return. Well, I should have just swung with the Snackers. The chances they deal us an extra 8 damage here are low, although not impossible. This is the type of thing I get for not being that much of a combo or dredge player or anything like that. Those are the little details that I would not miss if I played this deck a little bit more. I should have just attacked with the Snackers, left the Mutt back, and then gone for the Giant, and we would have been fine. Homes the Vein does gain him some life, so I'll have to hit him for a little more. We'll still probably be fine. If they attack, then we know that they can win this turn, because otherwise they should be leaving these back, I think. Oh. Splitting the difference means they're definitely not winning. Otherwise, they'd just attack with both. All right, so they could have a removal spell for 1 creature. I think we should still mill 5. More chances of hitting Gatekeepers and things. There's a Gatekeeper. Because if I got 2 Gatekeepers, I could play those for 1 mana each, and it wouldn't matter if they killed 1 creature. Whereas here, if they kill 1 creature, it could be bad. Well, I guess, yeah, I mean, I got a Scrapwork Mutt here. They're going to kill a Snacker, discard Stinkweed, but I think we go for the Brown Scale this time just to gain a little bit of life. And then don't attack with a Snacker, because we need to get up to 3 creatures, and we're throwing this a little bit. They get a Faithless Looting, discards, grab the prize in a mountain, swings with the Snacker this time, which I'll take. We're going to Dredge. I just need to hit a second Gatekeeper. We don't hit it. I could Gatekeeper now, but then I'm not saving it for later, so I feel like I Scrapwork Mutt now. But with their looting, if they just get lucky... I mean, I could just draw, and if I draw a land, then I can unearth the other guy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 lands in our graveyard, 2 in our battlefield. So we have 10 lands left in our deck? 5. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we have 10 lands left in our deck, so the chances are about 50-50 that we draw a land, so I'm going to go for it. All right. Unless they have another bolt, which they could. Let's just not dilly-dally now and go for the giant. Cool. Well, we did our very best to throw that game, and we failed, so that's cool. So they're going to do a bunch of graveyard hate. They're not going to have the most, but they're going to have like 3 spell bombs or something. And they're not going to bring in board wipes, I don't think. I mean, we have enough creatures. I don't know. We're going to try the Transformative. We're going to keep the brown scales just because they still could be good. But we're going to take out the Dread Returns, Giants, Stinkweed Imps, and I guess it is brown scale. Like, those would be the last 2, but I think it's probably better to just take out, like, Ferals, maybe? All right, let's see how this goes. If they're expecting a long, grindy game and then suddenly get a fast, aggressive one, maybe that'll be good enough. We have a Tomb Raider. We're on the draw. Epicure, Tomb Raider, and then a bunch of 2-drops. All right, we'll give it a try. Epicure. Was pretty happy that we realized how many lands were in our deck and went for that play, because it could have been pretty bad if we did not. They have a Robbery. I assume we'll see a Snacker. Look at that. Epicure swings. Yeah, we still should block in case we don't get our land. Ugh. I mean, I want to play a Tomb Raider and start attacking, but that lets me discard that and hopefully hit another, like, look for a land. I don't think we're going to win if we're just stuck on one land, so I'm going to not find it, apparently. Jagged Barrens and a Robbery. Another Snacker. Land feels already too late. Like, Rally's too slow. I think we are getting our Snacker, discarding this Gatekeeper. Now we hit all the lands. Bolt the Snacker. There's the Spell Bomb. Crack it right away. Another Spell Bomb. We're at 12. I don't even know if I want to, like, show all this stuff. I feel like we're already dead. I mean, I could Rally, but I can't do that and Tomb Raider and have haste on this, that is. I could play this and this, or I could play Scrapwork Mutt and Tomb Raider, I guess. I was really counting on that Gatekeeper. There's another one. All right, I'm going to Tomb Raider. There is a possibility that we win this. It's very slim, but if their hand is pretty bad and all they have is like 4 damage, maybe we can get there. Kitchen Imp, Vampire's Kiss. We're not dead, but can we deal 17? Seems unlikely. Looting, discards, say 2 Gatekeepers. I can't even unearth them, though, because of a Spell Bomb. Let's just go to the next one. Try again. No lands. Alright, this one's got a pretty decent rally start. Get rid of the brown scale. Tomb Raider. Swing. They just bolt it. Scrapwork Mutt or Rally. I kind of want to be able to Gatekeeper before the Rally, potentially. And Rally's 2 damage this turn, but it's just as much damage to attack this turn and next turn as playing the Scrapwork Mutt this turn and attacking next turn. Assuming they don't have blockers or anything. Vampire's Kiss. Grab the prize. Yeah, I mean, we'll just Rally. Wish I got a land so I could have Gatekeepered there, but attacking is good. And then we have a 5 burn in hand, 6 burn, I guess, with the Epicure. If we discard something else to grab the prize. Discard a Kitchen Imp to a blood token. And an Epicure. Swing for 2. Neonate. Gonna unearth. Play Epicure to ping for 2. Attack with the team. Hit for 4 or 5. Depending on how they block. It's 4. So they're at 10. I have 5 burn in hand. And the festivities. I don't know if they brought that in after they saw the Tomb Raider or if it was just based on like Snackers and Epicures they saw in game 1, but either way, pretty annoyed. And then Alms of the Vein, swing for 2. Gatekeeper. I mean, I guess we're gonna Neonate and bolt this Imp. They got a Fiery Temper. Plot a Robbery. Can I possibly kill them here if I don't want to bolt this? Because I could put them to 10. Grab the prize of the Gatekeeper, they go to 8. Unearth, hit for 3. That's not good enough. I'm going to bolt this, hoping we can survive one more turn. Seems unlikely, but do I just play Gatekeeper then? No, I think it's still going to be better. The game is not going to last long enough for it to really matter, so I think we're just grabbing the prize with it. I could unearth it here, but I think we're just going to blood token the snacker. I don't know. They cast robbery. Alms of the Vein. So much life gain. Another robbery. Sack a land. Discard an Alms of the Vein. This hand's pretty good if we draw a second land, which we're on the draw. We have a Faithless Looting 4, so hopefully we won't get screwed. And if it's more white weenie, we're gonna be in a great time, aren't we? Well, we haven't yet hit that second land, but if we do, we will draw, or rather, we will return 3 snackers to the field, assuming they don't have a Thraben Charm up immediately. Skyfisher, come on, just give me a mountain or a Great Furnace. We don't. They didn't even attack for one. That's great. Okay, we'll pass. Replay Inspector, another Skyfisher. And they still don't attack. What is going on? Insolent Neonate. Can maybe draw me a land. Even if I do, it's not going to let me play anything else this turn. So I think I should just... It's also not going to get our snackers back. And I don't think there's anything we can draw for 0 mana. I could, of course, Dredge, but that doesn't seem very good. We're just going to pass. Lunarch Veteran. Finally attacking. They missed out on 3 damage already. We're at 16. And now they have the charm, I would assume, as they are leaving up mana. We'll swing for 1. Discard a snacker here to draw Neonate, which actually, part of why I waited to do this till this next turn was in case we get this. This would actually allow us to draw our 3rd card and get the snackers back. I am fully anticipating a Thraben Charm, but if they don't have it, maybe we can do something here. Okay, they do. What a fun game that was. It's just always how it goes. I never play against White Weenie, like basically never. And of course, when we're playing the deck that loses so hard to it, that's when we're going to see it. I think we stick with the main game plan. I think it's better than the sideboard here. We will keep this one. Start with an Epicure and pass to them. They have an Inspector. We will grab the prize, discarding a Giant. Pass to them. They just crack a clue, not even bluffing anything. Like a Thraben Charm is interesting. I could like looting and maybe we find stuff if we're lucky. I'm just gonna Scrapwork Mutt. Discard one of these lootings. Giant. We'll play a Neonate and pass. Fill the board a little bit. They have another Inspector. Pass the turn now. We're gonna flashback Faithless Looting. Discarding Brown Scale and Stinkweed Imp, which we could dredge right away with another looting. Might as well. At least the Stinkweed Imp. We hit another Stinkweed Imp and 2 snackers. We've already drawn 3 cards this turn. So sure, we'll mill more and hope for the best here. Put a Stinkweed and a Giant into the yard. This is what we got going on. And we'll just pass. They're going to crack a clue. Swing with both Inspectors. I guess I'm going to take it. There could be a Leonardo or something here that I could try to block for, but attacking with both feels like I don't really want to block here and then double block here in case they have like a Guardian's Pledge. They just wipe our whole board. They do get Leonardo, replay Inspector. We're not going to dredge because we're going to try to get back the snackers. Flashing back Faithless Looting. So we're going to actually draw. They're going to Thraben Charm in response, but they didn't wait until this resolved, meaning the snacker's trigger hasn't gone off yet. So I can actually get them back still by discarding a mountain, drawing a card here, and then doing Neonate. Yeah, we'll get rid of Dread Return. Obviously, these are going to get exiled, and drawing there, we actually get to snacker on top of that. So they messed up a little bit there. Not to mention just whatever we discard is going to stay in our graveyard now, which is, of course, going to be Giant and Stinkweed Imp. Play an Epicure. And we even have mana to cast Feral next turn and attack for 7 in the air. So I think that's going to be our game plan. They're going to Battle Screech. Flying Plan is worse now. I guess if we just attack with snackers, I can always flush out to bring them right back. But that's if I don't dredge the Stinkweed Imp, which I kind of wanted to. Swing with the Leonardo. We're going to block with 2 creatures. Way too much damage, and I don't want to just chump it. We have a Scrapwork Mutt and a Blood Token to bring these snackers back already. So, yeah, let's dredge here. We hit a looting, double Gatekeeper. Two lootings too. That's actually really good. So like a gatekeeper, we ping for 1. Scrapwork, we ping for 2. Kind of want to mill more. If we are lucky enough to find a Dread Return, then we could maybe just win this turn. 8 creatures in grave. Let's just unearth some Scrapwork Mutts. Dredge a bunch. There's a Dread Return. Dredge again. We're at 11 creatures in grave. So I do need to leave 3 creatures back to block. Or rather to sacrifice. Because I could attack with 2. Chances are they're going to block them. I could go up to 13 creatures. That's not quite enough. So I think we just Dread Return Giant now off the Scrapwork Mutts. And an Epicure. Ping for a bunch, and then I can maybe finish them off with Gatekeepers next turn. Since they're down to 5. They're going to crack a Clue. Play a Lunarch Veteran. And another to go to 6. Do they have another 1-drop? Maybe not. They're going to swing with enough creatures to get a Leonardo down. I can bring these Snackers back if I really want, which actually, by letting them die, they'll trigger the Gatekeepers by coming back. So that actually might be the play. Yeah, Leonardo, a bird. They gain 2 more life. But I eat a bunch of their creatures. So let's... Oh, we have 3 Gatekeepers. That should just be lethal then. Yeah, because we have 3 Snackers. Okay. Not to mention the Gatekeepers ping off each other. So unearth 3 Gatekeepers and then flush out to draw our 3rd card, get 3 Snackers back, draw another Snacker, return all these, and ping for 9. All right, we won that one. Let's try to take down the last game here. We'll keep this one. Decent mana, decent card draw. Dread Returns might be a little early, but it's okay. I'm just going to play an Epicure. I could do a Neonate, but chances are the Menace is not going to be enough to get through their guy next turn, and if they attack with the Epicure, I'd rather block with the... Or rather, if they attack with the Veteran, I'd rather block with the Epicure. Play an Inspector and another Inspector. Get an Epicure, go for a Mutt, discard a Dread Return. So many Epicures. Kind of wish we got a Molten Gatekeeper. Well, we'll need a 3rd land for it, but then if we can play it up before playing all these, we'll be hitting for a ton. Crack a Clue, looking for a land, I assume. They find it, if that's what they were doing indeed. Swing with 1 Inspector. I will block it so that no Leonardo comes down this early. Grab the prize. Yeah, I'd like to hit our land drop. Discard a Dread Return. We do hit our land drop. Play another Epicure. Pass the turn. They crack a Clue. Then go to combat. I'll double block the Inspector. They want a Leo Veteran for basically no value. I'm fine with that. They get it for 1 extra damage and return a guy that doesn't even gain him a life then. Ooh, Snacker's good. Can get that back right away. Another Snacker's good. I can get that back right away. Perfect. Realizing every single one of our creatures is 1 toughness, so I really hope they didn't side in Holy Light. Nothing to Dread Return, unfortunately. Replay the Veteran. Squadron Hawk, okay. Yeah, I mean, decent flyers and string of life gain creatures. Well, creatures that will gain them 1 life, but not necessarily the best for them. Pretty expensive for them to cast those. They are going to have to discard here. Faithless Looting. I'm definitely attacking with Snackers. I could attack with the Scrapwork Mutt and the Epicures, in which case they block here. Get a free kill, but they might take 2 more. I think we'll just do the Snackers. If they block, the Snacker comes right back. So let's Looting. Discard double Stinkweed Imp. I guess we might as well try to flush out. We have Dread Returns. If I can hit a Giant early, it'd be pretty good while they don't have the ability to stop us. So I'm going to mill. We didn't hit 1. We're going to mill again. No Giant. I could mill 1 more time, which I think I might as well. There's a Giant. We can hit for like 12-ish. We just get a Giant creature. We'll sack the Snackers. Oh, 13. Perfect. They are at 2. Sacking the Snackers, they could be flyers that could be lethal next turn, so maybe I should have kept them, but they're also the creatures that can return to the battlefield with a bunch of stuff that we already have in our graveyard, like Faithless Looting. So they did miss a couple land drops and didn't have the best draw, it seems, but the deck was actually working here. Like, being able to mill 15 there, we'll get back both Snackers last turn was great, and then mill 15 here, in addition to drawing cards to bring back our Snacker, was just really impressive. they do Battle Screech, and they can Battle Screech again to gain some extra life. They're at 6. I can probably find a way to kill them. Milling with Brown Scales. Well, I want to return the Snackers because I have Molten Gatekeepers. I have 2 Gatekeepers. So, no, let's not do that. Bring back a Gatekeeper. Bring back a Gatekeeper. Ping. Then I can Scrapwork Mutt. Ping twice. Discard a Stinkweed Imp. Don't Dredge. And then I can Blood Token, Stinkweed Imp. Don't Dredge. Snackers come back. Pings for 4. Not to mention we can attack for a bunch this turn. All right, we won a match, and it was against one that we were heavily unfavored against. So at least it's not a total shutout. All right, last round here. The hand is okay. I like the mana because, honestly, when we don't have enough mana, it's so hard to get there because it feels like we have to start dredging, but then we never draw land. So I think this is an okay start. I'm going to hope we're against something else we could do the Transformative Sideboard against because we've only really gotten to do that once. Epicure them. We're against Spy. I mean, we might bring Bolts in, but I don't think Spy is going to be better with a bunch of ground creatures that get blocked by walls, so that's not great. Cycle a Generosent. I can discard Snacker or Imp here. Snacker gives me a possibility to hit like a Faithless Looting that I could then get the Snacker back. Imp doesn't necessarily do a lot for me. We'll go for the Snacker. I mean, the Imp could hit like a Faithless Looting, but it's going to be so much slower. Of course, we drew what we didn't want to draw. Gate Creeper Vine declines to use its ability. Does that mean they've already drawn their swamp? They had to have like just drawn it. Well, we're gonna discard the Stinkweed Imp and Dredge now. We hit a Gatekeeper. I guess I can double Gatekeeper next turn. Yup, they have their swamp. We have like no interaction, so we probably just lose next turn. I guess they could think we're gonna have interaction and not do it, but alright. They can also just Vandal away our Mutt. That's pretty annoying. Faithless Looting. Cast that. Discard Giant and Imp. Get back Snacker. I mean, tapping out just shows them we have nothing. It's a death sentence, so I guess we don't tap out. I got a Looting. Mill 5. We draw another Stinkweed. Discard those. There's no way we get up to killing them this turn, so I'm going to pass. Maybe they think we have a couple bolts and don't have the mana to go for it through us killing 2 creatures or something. No, they don't seem too concerned. Mill themselves, and we're going to die. I mean, I think we're getting partially unlucky with matchups with like the white weenie ones, but maybe this just isn't right for the meta. I do think the deck might have a couple issues that I'll talk about in the wrap-up. Alright, sure, we'll try this one. Neonate. I mean, we just need to do like, I don't know, 5 to 8 damage from attacks and stuff, which I guess is going to be really hard with regular creatures. Maybe with flyers we can get there. And then we need to just finish them off with a troll. They have a Fairy Macabre. That's pretty bad for us. They have a land grant, and they're going to cycle a Generosent. We're going to flush out, discarding Stinkweed Imp, dredging it. We hit some stuff. We draw our Dread Return, of course, which I guess I can discard with the Looting, so it's not a big deal. Gate Creeper Vine. We draw Faithless Looting. I'm going to go to unearth the Gatekeeper, see if they want to do anything about that. If not, I'll Scrapwork Mutt as well. Those are good. Any of these things that are, you may discard a card if you do draw a card. They can't interrupt the Stinkweed Imp dredging because there's no stop of the ability. The ability just says, do all of this at one time. So they can't ever Fairy Macabre it away. Now, if it said, discard a card when you do, and that's a reflexive trigger, which means it would go on the stack and they could respond. Or if it's a card like Grab the Prize that says, as an additional cost, then the Stinkweed Imp's already in the graveyard and they could respond before the spell has resolved. But Highway Robbery, Scrapwork Mutt, anything like that, the Flush Out, anything like that, they're not going to be able to respond to. They play a Battlement, cycle a Generosent, and they can potentially have it next turn. And with the Fairy Macabre in hand, I'm not sure. Even if we, I mean, we have Faithless Looting, Dread Return, Giant, but Macabre, how do we actually stop that? I don't really see a way. Looting discards Stinkweed and Snacker. Then I'm just going to Faithless from Grave. Dredging. Discarding Snacker and... Or not Snacker, Imp and Giant. Pass the turn. They're going to Mesmeric Fiend, which means they're not going to have black mana this turn unless they have another way to make it at, without a tapper. So there probably isn't going to be a spy. They take the Dread Return. Winding Way. Finds some creatures. Play a Llanowar Elves and a Sentinel. We will Dredge. Cast Faithless Looting. Discard Snacker. Stinkweed Imp. So we've drawn 2 cards this turn. So I'm going to flashback a Looting. Decline, which triggers, and then I'll Dredge. Discard this and this. These all come back, unless they want to macabre a couple of them, which would probably be our way to win. Yeah, so they're not worried about that. So we'll pass. Like, they don't really care about the Snackers when they have Generosent, Saga Wildling, Jesper Sentinel. Oh, well, they're going to Fairy Macabre, a Giant, and a Dread Return right now. Do they want the extra creature in their graveyard? Because I don't know why they'd do that and not wait to respond to us casting a Dread Return with one of those. They have a Saga Wildling, which is fine, because I can bolt that. Let's move these over here. There's too many windows. I hate decks where I have to pop up all these windows all the time. This is their hand. They're playing Battlement. Attack with the Sentinel. That seems somewhat aggressive. I mean, weird spot. They could have another Fairy Macabre. We only know 2 of their cards. But if they don't, we could maybe go for it. I could just bolt their Wildling so I can get in for 6. I think that's probably worthwhile. Maybe I should just not care that they can block one, though, and bolt their Fiend or something. I don't know. We will Dredge. Hit a Dread Return. We have a Gatekeeper. Scrapwork Mutt. Alright, unearth the Gatekeeper and the Scrapwork Mutt. I think we're going to assume they don't have another Fairy Macabre, even though I'm not sure why they would have made that play if they don't. Because they could have done the one to, like, try to goad us into going for it. But if they do, that also means they don't have a Spy, which we assume they don't have a Spy anyway, because we'd be dead. But, I don't know. I guess we're at 14 cards in grave, so we do need to be a little careful. Probably won't be, though. Let's mill 5. We hit a Dread Return and 2 Giants. So, Scrapwork Mutt, mill some more, swing with the team, get in for a bunch. Couple blocks, they're taking 9. I guess we'll Dread Return a Giant. I'm assuming it'll get ferried. It doesn't. Strange. Okay. I mean, that one went well. They didn't find a Spy for a while, which was really the thing that made it so we had a chance to win the game. But then if they had just saved the Fairy for as late as possible, they could have taken, like, when we went to Dread Return, they could have exiled the Giant we were targeting and the second Dread Returns if they hadn't used it earlier on the one Dread Return. If I could then kill the Mesmeric Fiend, maybe we could still win, but I don't know. Yeah, this one's all right. It does feel like we're just slower than them, and without any graveyard hate in our sideboard, Fairy Macabres or Relics, we're just all we have to do is be hopeful that they cannot go faster than us. They got a Lotus Petal, although they did mulligan to 6, and they have a Fiend right away. That's not that bad. They could take our 1 or 2 drop, but we have double grab the prize. They could take Giant, which I guess is probably fine. But I don't care about Giant for too long. It makes it so I don't have a perfect target to grab the prize with yet, but honestly, pedaling into a Fiend is very okay by me. Seems like that would probably have been a mulligan, in my opinion. Oh, especially if they don't have another way to find a second land. Okay. Well, we're going to play creatures because those deal damage every turn, as opposed to grab the prize, which only deals it once. So I'll start with the Mutt. We are going to discard this Feral Gatekeeper. I could discard that to the Mutt next turn. They find a Generosent. Mountain. We're swinging, and I think I'm just playing a Gatekeeper. It's going to probably do some decent damage. And maybe they kept their hand because they had like a Fairy Macabre or something, so they knew we wouldn't be able to take huge advantage of their slowness. But if we go really fast here, maybe it'll be okay. Find another Generosent, so that's 3 forests. A Gatekeeper, so that's all 4 lands. If we don't get a way to like bolt a thing, and they can just spy, then we will lose. So that would be bad. Faithless Looting. I'll grab the prize, discarding a Mutt. Snacker and Stinkweed Imp. Swing with the team. They chump block. Okay, so I don't have to be worried about the spy next turn then? I don't think. So let's just Looting, ditch Snacker, and Dread Return. I could Dread Return something. I don't think we need to. They have a Battlement and a Winding Way, which finds a Macabre. That's annoying. Although they might have to use it proactively here. Maybe not. Another Gatekeeper. I think we Faithless Looting. Lightning Bolt is good. Discard Stinkweed Imp and Gatekeeper. Snacker comes back. Trigger Gatekeeper. I kind of have to leave a Bolt, although I wanted to grab the prize or something here. I mean, if they can just play one more creature and then Spy so Bolt doesn't do it, that's pretty bad. They're at 7. I could Bolt the Fiend, but we know they have a Macabre, so it doesn't matter to get the Giant back. So I think I'm just playing Epic here. They go to 5, and I hope Bolt keeps them from spying. I mean, it won't, based on what we know they have. Elves, if they have a spy, that is. They have a Sagu Wildling. That's not gonna do it. It does gain him 3, but I feel like I can probably deal him 3, or rather 8. They might be looking at Fairy Macabre now, proactively. I think I gotta use this Bolt on the end step. Question is on what? They didn't use the Macabre, so I don't think we're going for this. If I just Bolt them, they have blockers for here. They're taking 4. So they're 1, and then Grab the Prize can probably kill them, or our Gatekeeper from the graveyard can kill them. Yeah, we can mill 5. That actually ensures that our Grab the Prize deals damage. Try to bring back a Gatekeeper. I think they might have to exile this. No, they chose not to. Well, we'll Grab the Prize on a Stinkweed Imp. Dredging. They go to 2. We don't have a 1-drop to bring back, but pretty sure we could just attack and win the game. All right, we got a 2-3. Glad we were able to pull it back a little bit since 0-3 starting was pretty rough. We did get 2 matches. One of them was against White Weenie, which I think is definitely a bad matchup for us. We just got a little bit lucky, or they got unlucky. And same with Spy, I think is probably bad for us because we don't have any graveyard hate, and they just got unlucky, I think. Although, to be honest, I think both of those players could have played a little bit better. So it's possible if they had, we would have still lost. I like the idea of the deck because I'm always a huge fan of transformative sideboards. I say that every time I get a deck donation that has one. But unfortunately here, I feel like our main game plan is not quite good enough. Red Dredge already struggles. Obviously, that's why it's kind of a fringe deck, not a meta deck. And then putting cards like Brown Scale, which are subpar in any match that's not a burn matchup, makes it a little bit worse. And so our main game plan is just kind of struggling, it feels like, missing a couple key pieces. For example, I think Lightning Bolt just should be a main deck card. I think some of the other Red Dredge decks I saw also played Fiery Temper, which we have so many ways to discard. I think that would be good. I understand they're not creatures. They're not going to contribute to your count. That's another thing you got to deal with. Maybe that's, why we don't play Grab the Prize or something. But basically every match I wanted to bring in Lightning Bolt, and we just didn't really have the space for it. Or I didn't feel like I could based on the main deck. But Bolt is just a good enough card. Same with Fiery Temper, with enough ways to discard it, that those should probably be main deck. They don't need to be sideboard. And then I really wish that we were able to show off the sideboard, the transformative sideboard, a little bit more. I apologize for that. It just never felt in the matchups that we were doing like it was the best play, except for the one where we actually did it. But White Weenie didn't feel good to do it in. Spy, Blue Fairies. I was really hoping for a Jund, Grixis Affinity, any sort of mid-range or control deck, maybe Dimir Fairies or something like that, that's going to focus on the graveyard hate and not the board wipes, and then we could get them there. Rakdos Madness, it was okay. But to be honest, whether it was after game 1 or 2, they brought in End Festivities because we already have so many creatures with 1 toughness that the End Festivities or any breath weapons they might bring in already kind of wipes our board. So it makes it a little bit less good here. I think the main game plan and the side game plan need to be a little bit more divergent so that the sideboard cards they bring in for the main deck can't possibly overlap with the ones they want for our second deck. But with all these creatures that die to 2 damage board wipes, they're definitely going to be bringing those in already. And then without an actual sideboard, except for a couple Pyroblasts, I can't believe we won against Spy. It was really just that they got unlucky, because if they just had Spy on turn 4, any of those 2 games that we won, we would have just lost. So even if you keep the transformative sideboard, maybe it should only be 8 cards, or at the very least, I think these cards should be relics or Fairy Macabres or something. I think the graveyard hate is far more important than the counter spells, to be honest. but again, maybe you need a little bit of both. I do really appreciate the deck donation and hope you enjoyed, even though we didn't have the best success with it. But those are just my thoughts on how the deck could probably improve a little bit. Thanks so much for watching. If you want to support me on a monthly basis, go ahead and check out my YouTube memberships where you can get early access to my videos. Thanks to my current $10 and up supporters, Howard Granger, JDNPX, Halkaz, Cody Cowell, DJ Vinyl, In Buns We Bust, Brotaku BC, Mr. Soleo, Paula Dillon C, and Blackjack Davey. I really appreciate the support, and I will see you all next time.